Like,
When little hands work, mess becomes masterpiece. Yes, we truly believe so. A very good evening to all our viewers of Facebook and YouTube. This is Radhika, educator at Healthy Planet NWS and moderator for this show. So viewers, we are back again with yet another interesting topic. To throw more light on today's topic, I would like to welcome our guest, Miss Devika Kapoor. Devika ma'am is a renowned artist in Seattle, USA. Ma'am has started her professional career as a graphic designer in a national magazine. Devika ma'am has been teaching varied styles like contemporary art, Madhubani, Worli, clay, and many more. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
thank you, Radhika.
Now, yes, thank you, ma'am. Now, I would also like to welcome our inquisitive panelists from Healthy Planet. And first up is
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kabir Choudhary. I study in Cambridge too. I'm excited to be a part of this session.
Kabir. We are equally excited to have you on the show. And next up is
The world is black and white. Who will give it a color? I can see a stick of paint. I will paint it with love and joy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Miraya Jindal. I study in Cambridge 1. I am glad to be a part of this session as painting is one of my hobbies.
well, Miraya. It seems you are all geared up to ask so many interesting questions from ma'am. Great. Next up is
Good evening, everyone. My name is Riyansh Agarwal. I study in kindergarten. I am so excited to be a part of. I am so excited to be a part of the Talking Diaries.
thank you and welcome to the show, Riyansh. Next up is
Hello, everyone. I'm Kaustubhi. I study in KG Green. I'm glad to be part of this episode.
thank you, Kaustubhi, and welcome to the show. Thank you, dear panelist, for joining us. Well, Devika ma'am believes in a simple philosophy. Everyone is creative. It just need to be nourished to unleash. So now, let's hear from ma'am herself. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Radhika, for the lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone. My name is Devika Kapoor, and I am an artist and an art educator. I live in the city of Seattle in the US, where I run my own art school called Paint a Style. I was born and raised in India, in your town of Ghaziabad, and then I completed my master's in fine arts at College of Art, Delhi. All my education was done in India, but when I moved to US, it was a totally different world of artists. So the big question was, do I go the American way of art or bring the Indian styles to the foreign land? In today's time, I teach both contemporary style, but I did bring in focus on the Indian styles as well. Today, I have students as young as you guys to as old as your grandparents. I am excited to know that you all are interested in art and have questions for me. So, looking forward to them. Ms. Radhika, back to you.
Thank you, ma'am. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing, ma'am. I can see Kabir is curious to ask his question. Go ahead, Kabir.
Ma'am, how can I improve my drawing skills?
It's a great question, Kabir. Drawing, like any other skill, needs practice, patience, and learning. When you give yourself time then you will get better at that skill. I'll give you an example. When we tie shoelaces at first, it takes time for us. It may be loose, it may get tangled, or sometimes we need help from our parents or teachers to help us tie the shoelaces. But then, as we learn it and take time and practice, we do improve on it and we get better with time. Just like that, with drawing, you need to practice with patience and you will get better and better. So never give up. Did that answer your question, Kabir? All right.
That's for sure, ma'am. Practice makes a man perfect. Kabir, I'm sure this must have given you clarity. Now, next question comes from Miraya. Yes, Miraya.
I draw neatly, but I spoil when I color. How can I look on that?
Good question, Miraya. It is great to hear that you really like what you draw. What do you think you do when you draw? Do you plan your picture, or do you draw slowly, or do you practice your picture again and again? What do you think?
Ma'am, I think that I practice again and again.
So that's great to hear that you do that. Now, I understand that at times it can get messy with coloring, and it's a very common thing that happens. So let's see how we can fix it. We have to put our thinking mind on. Okay? So here are some tips that I will give you. When coloring, you can start with outlining your pictures, because what happens is when you outline your picture, it helps you keep your color inside the lines. Second thing you can do is start with a lighter color and then go over to the darker colors. So that makes your picture brighter. Now, very importantly, is choosing the right kind of color. For example, if you have a big, large picture, you can use pastels to color it. But if you have a tiny picture with a lot of details, you may want to use markers and color pencils as they may work best. But yes, you need to color with a lot of patience, just like you practiced your drawing. So, practice is the most important key here. Does that answer your question, Miraya? All right.
Well, well, Miraya, after hearing this, you will color neatly as well, isn't it? Now, ma'am, Riyansh has a question to ask. Yes, Riyansh.
How is doodling different from drawing?
Doodling and drawing are just like two twins, but they are different. They are both used to build our artworks, and they are similar, but not yet. So let's see how they are different. Doodling is something we do whenever, however we want to. It helps our brain think about new ideas. It builds our focus and keeps us calm. But most importantly, it is a lot of fun to do. Drawing is also same, but it is more specific to the object we are trying to show. It helps us create a more clear picture of our ideas, builds our observation, and as we look into the details of the object, we learn more. We all doodle first and then draw. It is a very natural process when creating an artwork. Does that
That's right,
give
ma'am.
you clarifications, Riyansh? Good. Thank you.
That's right, ma'am. Definitely, there is a difference between doodling and drawing. Now, ma'am, Kaustubhi is waiting to ask her question. Yes, Kaustubhi.
How quickly can I learn to draw?
How quickly? There is, Kaustubhi, there is no timeline to how quickly you can learn to draw. But great news. As soon as you decide to learn to draw, you've already taken that first step towards achieving your goal. It takes time, but practicing and learning the skill on your own or with guidance and help can make you progress in the right direction at a faster pace. Because it is rightly said, where there is a will, there is a way. So, friends, what do you think? Shall we learn to draw today? Right?
Hmm. Great.
So, we will have an oval and a triangle. Do you guys have your papers and pencils? So, you can draw an oval and a triangle, and let's see what all can we create with them. I'll give you a clue. So we can place an oval over the triangle. What do you think it will make? Or we can put the oval in front of the triangle. What do you think it will make? Are you trying it? So here's an example. If I put an oval over the triangle, it makes an, what is it? Miraya, can you tell me?
Ma'am, it is ice cream.
Right? And did you guys make something to show me?
Ma'am, I am making that.
Okay. You can put any combination of oval and triangle, over, above, sideways.
Think and draw, children.
It is all, and there's nothing wrong in art. So
Right.
everything that you create is a masterpiece.
Absolutely, ma'am.
All right.
Let me also try.
Yeah, why not, Miss Radhika? All the viewers, I would encourage you to try and draw something with an oval and a triangle. Ooh, I think Riyansh is almost done. There comes Miraya.
Hmm.
There are a lot of ice creams and balloons and a face with a hat. That's amazing. Kaustubhi, Miraya, can you move your picture a little closer so we can see it? A birthday hat. Very pretty. Very
Ma'am, a
nice,
girl.
Miraya.
Ma'am, it is a girl wearing a birthday hat.
That's beautiful, Miraya. Kaustubhi, what have you drawn? You have drawn balloons and a child with a birthday hat, right? Very beautiful, Kaustubhi. What about Riyansh? Can you bring
Ma'am,
your
this is
picture
a
closer,
birthday
Riyansh?
boy. Ma'am, this is a birthday boy.
Ooh, the balloons and another birthday boy. Very nice. And you made ice cream or a hot air balloon, Kabir. Very nice, Riyansh. Kabir, what have you made?
I have made this balloon is flying high in the air.
I am
Hmm.
so proud of your things that you guys made. And also, if I put the oval behind the triangle, it can also make a little fishy in the water, just like this.
Oh, yes.
That's another idea, right?
Even Devika, ma'am, I have drawn something.
Well, let's see.
I have drawn a mirror.
Ooh, isn't that cool, guys? You can put the oval on top of a triangle, and that makes a mirror. So I can see that you all had such great ideas, and it only took us 2 minutes to make so many different things: a hot air balloon, a fish, a face, birthday balloons, a child with a hat, a clown. Imagine if you had practiced each day for 10 minutes, how fast your progress can be. And remember, 10 minutes is not too much time when it comes to art, right? Does that answer your question?
Devika ma'am, I must say that's a wonderful way to learn drawing through shapes.
Yes, shapes are our building blocks.
Yes. So, ma'am, there is a question coming up from our Facebook viewer. Let me ask you. Ma'am, I can do drawing, but I can't sketch and paint. It makes a lot of mess. So, ma'am, what can I do for it? Let me read it one more time.
Mhm.
Ma'am, I can do drawing, but I can't sketch and paint. And paint it makes a lot of mess. So, ma'am, what can I do for it?
So it's a great question. Again, coming back to the basic, if you can draw it, you can sketch and paint as well. Give yourself some time to learn and practice, because practice will help you open your mind. Doodling is a great way to open up your um, uh, uh, thinking process, where you can be open to learning more styles. The more you doodle, the better you get on your sketching. And painting, it takes time and practice to do that. So it's all in our mind. If we open our mind, we can do it.
Right. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you for answering.
Yes.
All right, Riyan. So, are you ready with your next question? Please ask.
Is it difficult to use watercolors?
Great question. Nothing is hard, dear, because if you give yourself time to learn, it all comes easy. Just like we need training wheels to balance ourselves when we are learning how to ride a bike, the same way we need a little bit of training and practice, and we can learn watercolors as well. There are a lot of resources available online, and or through art teachers like me who can provide you guidance and training. But experimenting yourself is also a great way to learn. A few things to keep in mind while doing watercolors, although would be: first, wear an apron whenever using paints. Do not paint without an apron. Make sure you have the right kind of paper. A lot of times you must have seen that when you paint with watercolors, your paper get wrinkled and it rips every time I put water on it. It's because the paper is too thin. Watercolor paper is generally a little thicker, and it's more stronger to absorb water in it. Another important thing to do to watch out is how much water are we using, and that depends on what kind of picture are you making. I when I teach my students, I suggest them to go very slowly when they are doing the watercolors. And again, just like coloring, go from lighter to darker shades so that you don't have to mess up your artwork. And secondly, you can't erase in watercolors. Well, having said that about the mess, we all mess up our pictures. And trust me, I do that a lot of times too. So don't get disheartened. But I'll tell you one little secret that I have. Every time I restart or I make my picture again, I am moving one step closer to building my masterpiece. And how cool is that? So don't feel bad if your picture turns out another way that you want. We always can do it again. And again, the more we do it, the better we get.
Right, ma'am. Okay, Riyansh. So now you know it is not that difficult to use watercolors, right? Yes, Kaustubhi, you are up next.
What should be my inspiration to draw?
Inspiration, Kaustubhi, it comes from our viewing glasses, our observation, and a desire to explore more and more about something. When I was young, I used to read books and imagine all the characters that I would see in the books. So one day I started sketching all of the characters that I would see in your storybooks. These are imaginations of an artist. Nobody has seen Batman, but we have imagined him. The artists have created them getting inspired by the qualities those characters have. So we see some artists drawing trees all the time till they get it right because trees are the inspirations that they need to draw. So whatever makes me happy, that is what I draw. So you can do the same. You don't need to look for inspiration outside, darling. You can find inspiration all around you. You see objects in your house, you see trees around your house, you see toys in your house. Anything can be your inspiration. You can also look into books to get inspired by some artists if you would like. For example, a cartoonist. Have you seen cartoons? So these cartoonists, they draw things inspired by what they see around them, and they make funny things out of the dullest things also. So let me ask you, what do you like to draw yourself, Kaustubhi?
Peppa Pig.
Oh, so great news now, right? So now you see, Peppa Pig is your inspiration. If it interests you, you will draw and draw more things with Peppa Pig and around Peppa Pig, and you will get better with it. All right? Good job.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. So, cause to be, stay inspired. Well, Devika, ma'am, we have another question coming up from our Facebook viewer.
Mhm.
Let me ask you: does painting help with improving mental strength?
Yes, it definitely improves your mental strength. It has been researched and experimented and seen a lot that when you paint, it calms your brain, it calms you down. Also, it opens up your thinking mind. It gives you a lot of cognitive ability to evaluate or think about things in a different way, not in a similar viewer point way. So it really helps you get yourself more experimental and developed.
All right, ma'am. Thank you for answering. Now, Devika, ma'am, Kabir too has a question to ask.
Okay, Kabir.
Yes, Kabir.
Ma'am, how can I procure my artwork for a long time?
It's an interesting question, Kabir. um, we live in a digital world these days, so we now can save our artworks by taking pictures. We can scan our artworks, or we can load up all our artworks onto the art portals. These enable us to save our artwork for a very long time, and also it helps us share the artworks whenever and wherever we want. But now, to save the original artworks, it will be different. We need to use different techniques and materials to procure them for long. I remember my mom, when I was young, used to save all my artworks in a file with plastic sleeves. And then she used to lay it flat in the bed or under a table so they don't get wrinkled. That is a great way to save artwork, which is done on paper. Because now I can show all my artworks from my young years when I was that old, as old as you are, to my children. But for canvas paintings and sculptures, there are various different sprays and varnishes available in the market that will help them and save them from getting tarnished or looking old. So, Kabir, does that answer your question?
Great. Thank you so much, Devika ma'am. This will surely help so many parents out there, who want to procure their little ones' artwork. So thank you so much. Now, ma'am, Miraya is waiting to ask her question. Please ask Miraya.
How art can make me a better student in my academics.
I am glad, Miraya, that you asked me this question. Art is much more than just a picture or a painting. It is your thought process, it is your feeling, and it's your emotion that is expressed. It not only helps in developing your strong motor skills and gain strengths in your hands, it also improves your handwriting. And I bet your teachers and parents would love to see neat handwriting in your books, isn't it? So it also helps in building your confidence, boost your creativity and imaginative powers. It gives you the ability to think and observe in different ways. So, have you seen the clouds in the sky? When everybody sees the same cloud, they all see different shapes and forms in it. But for some child, it may be just another cloud. But how fun could it be to build your imagination? And art teaches you that, it builds it up for you. So, you may have observed that when you color or you draw, you kind of feel relaxed and happy. It makes you more energized to try new things. And that's what art does as for us in academics. It makes us an explorer. And that's the cool thing to do. Does that
Right,
answer
ma'am.
your question, Miraya?
What?
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
All right.
Great, ma'am. Thank you for answering. So, ma'am, we have another question coming up from our Facebook viewer.
Mhm.
Ma'am wants to know, should young learners be told about the specific colors of the things around them? Or coloring should be left on their imagination? For example, sun must be orange or yellow, or it can be purple, as well as depending upon child's imagination.
That's a very great question. I appreciate asking that question. Now, we should be letting the children have their imagination and color the objects the way they like, because what their little minds are thinking is beyond what we can think. But at the same time, we can build their observation. I also always used to think that, oh, the sky cannot be green or the sky cannot be purple. But yet, when we go out in the world, we see sky being green, we see sky being purple. So the imagination has no barriers on it. Imagination can be anything. We can, as parents, as teachers, build their observation and encourage their imagination and give them tools how to observe things around them. Yes, but yes, let their imaginations fly.
Right, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, ma'am, next question will come from Riyansh. Yes, Riyansh, you may ask your question.
Pablo Picasso draw funny faces. Do you draw something like that?
Thank you for asking me that question. Being a teacher, I teach a lot of different styles of art to my students, like realistic, abstract, contemporary, and folk art, and more. But in my free time, I like to draw and paint in contemporary style. You know why? Because it lets me play around with colors, lines, and shapes, and I love to do that. Having said that, each artist has a different way they look at things, and that is what makes them unique. So you can try different styles, just like I do.
Right, ma'am. Thank you for answering, Devika, ma'am. All right, so Kaustubhi is waiting to ask her question. Go ahead, Kaustubhi.
Ma'am, what is your favorite art form?
What is my favorite art form? Do you think? Well, I want to ask you first. What is the art form that you enjoy? Do you like clay work? Do you like painting? Or do you like pencils to work with?
Then I like work with pencils.
Oh, that is so great. Each art form is different. But one thing I love to do is to doodle. It is the easy way to sketch and helps me express myself. It not only calms me down, but also helps me create new ideas. I can do it anywhere I want, and I love to do it in my spare time. The best thing is, I do it on my flights because then the flights are long and they're boring. So I get engaged in my doodling and I have nothing to worry about. The time goes by faster and I don't get bored. So doodle art is my buddy and is always by my side. So Kostabi, you can also do it with your pencil.
Great. So we have so many questions lined up, but we are running out of time. So we will have to wrap up this informative session. It was a delight to have you on the show, ma'am.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Riyansh, Miraya, Kabir, and Kostabi, and thank you, Miss Radhika. It had been a great evening talking to all of you about my art journey and sharing my learnings with you. And I hope you all get something useful and it motivates and keeps you interested in art. I am always available if anyone needs any guidance or any help. But I most importantly want to thank NWS for providing us a great platform to sharing our learnings with our children.
Thank
So
you,
thank you
ma'am.
again.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, in this session.
All right. Thank you, my dear panelists, and thank you, audience, for watching us. And please do not forget to tune in to our next episode of Talking Diaries, which will be on 23rd of October, live at 6:30 p.m. from Nehru World School. This is Radhika signing off from today's episode. Thank you.